What was supposed to be a financial effort to help a struggling Malaysian economy quickly morphed into one of the most complex, sinister scandals in global financial history. Through an intricate money laundering web, billions of dollars ended up lining the pockets of money-hungry billionaires, which they threw away on expensive real estate, extravagant gifts, dirty bribes, and one of the world's most impressive yachts. But it was only a matter of time before it all crumbled to the ground. Now, the mastermind behind the operation is on the run, and his luxury assets are being auctioned off at rapid speed. The focal point of this entire operation was a company called Malaysia Development Berhad, or OneMDB for short. OneMDB was a publicly traded entity owned by the state of Malaysia. They focused on the strategic development of projects across industrial areas of energy, real estate, tourism, and agriculture. These efforts, the government hoped, would spark long-term economic development for the nation, thanks to the building and nourishing of new relationships with foreign countries. At least that's what they said they were doing. Let's dive a little deeper. A business doesn't act on its own. It reflects the wishes of the people running it, and the people involved in OneMDB were powerful, wealthy, and assumingly innocent. Well, at the beginning. The company was officially founded back in 2009 with none other than former Prime Minister Najib Razak as the advisory board chairman. Razak would prove to be a pivotal member of the shady operation, but during his time as Prime Minister, he was able to call the shots and twist the narrative in his own favor. Once he lost re-election in 2018, his successor reopened an investigation into his actions. Razak was barred from leaving the country, and it all started to crumble, but we'll circle back to that a little bit later. In his position of power as Prime Minister and Advisory Board Chairman, Razak's scope for involvement and manipulation was obvious. A man who was far less relevant, yet just as damaging, was German banker Timothy Leissner. He represented one of the world's most powerful financial institutions, Goldman Sachs. Leissner was leading the Goldman charge in the region, operating in plenty of gray areas in the process. He was throwing around bribes, funding unlawful deals, all while raking in an eye-popping $600 million in fees relating to OneMDB. Much of this came as a direct result of his close connection with our next key player, Malaysian financier Jho, aka Jolo. Jolo was a mastermind networker. He had an astute business sense and excelled at pulling the strings of other people. He also had an impressive Rolodex of high-profile, extremely rich businessmen and celebrities, including Hollywood movie stars who we all know and love. Jolo's connections extended to the government, too. He had ties with the stepson of Najib Razak, and that wasn't his only connection. In fact, despite not being actively involved in the OneMDB fund, it quickly became evident that Jolo was the puppet master, the MC dictating terms behind the scenes, and the common link between local government, international financiers, and a pivotal offshore private oil company, PetroSaudi International. In September 2009, OneMDB entered into a US $2.5 billion joint venture with PetroSaudi. One man, one of the good guys who worked at PetroSaudi at the time, was Xavier Andre Justo, a man who'd proved crucial in understanding the complex web of manipulation, bribery, laundering, and corruption. Over time, it became more and more clear that Jolo had leveraged his powerful political connections to win contracts and businesses for OneMDB. How'd he do it? One word: bribes. Millions and millions of dollars worth of bribes. But let's swivel our attention back on Jolo, the operation's puppet master, the man who grabbed the dirty cash and used it to create a non-stop party lifestyle, unlike anything we've ever seen before. Low was known for mixing business with pleasure, an enormous amount of pleasure. He threw lavish parties with high-end booze and superstar entertainment. Names like Psy, Alicia Keys, and Kanye West would perfect at his birthday gatherings. He also formed close friendships with members of Arab royal family. Just to give you an idea of this guy's fascination for the high life, he would drop hundreds of thousands of dollars on the regular to throw Las Vegas parties, one which featured Britney Spears spectacularly leaping out of a birthday cake. If you were trying to impress celebrity crushes like Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, or Miranda Kerr, Low dropped millions of nights of debauchery and extravagance. According to a recent tell-all book called Billion Dollar Whale, Jolo may have had access to more liquid cash than almost anyone else on Earth, and it showed. The so-called Asian Gatsby splurged on $35 million private jets, equity in music labels like EMI, artistic masterpieces by Jean-Michel Basquiat, Monet, and Van Gogh, a penthouse in New York's Time Warner Center, and the infamous Viceroy L'Ermitage Hotel in Beverly Hills. He once sent 23 bottles of Cristal to Lindsay Lohan's table at a Manhattan nightclub on her 23rd birthday, and he even helped finance Leonardo DiCaprio's movie The Wolf of Wall Street, another celebrity he's been closely linked with. But all good things must come to an end. For Jolo and his co-conspirators, the beginning of their end came in January 2015. Eyebrows had already been raised in the year prior when an inquiry was launched by the Malaysian government into OneMDB's operations, but when a series of crucial documents were leaked into the public eye, that's when the red flags multiplied. These documents, some 227,000 of them, expose the dirty deals done by OneMDB, the complex operations, the bribes, and the billions of dollars that changed hands. Who leaked this report? Xavier Andre Justo, the man who previously worked with Petro Saudi? While these documents said a lot, there was one particular startling fact. The equivalent of $700 million worth of deposits had flowed into Prime Minister Najib Razak's personal bank accounts. Once the media got a whiff of the potentially dodgy practices and realized that OneMDB and the Malaysian government may have been betraying its taxpayers, the rest of the world honed their attention. In no time, Australia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Luxembourg, Seychelles, Singapore, Switzerland, and the United Arab Emirates, the UK, and of course the USA had each launched investigations. On the 8th of July, 2015, police conducted an 8-hour raid of the OneMDB offices, leaving with a computer central processing unit, as well as a plastic container of documents. Believe it or not, even after obtaining this evidence, the Prime Minister was cleared of any wrongdoing. Why? He claimed that the money in his account was nothing more than a personal donation from the Saudi royal family. From that point, lies flowed from reporters, politicians, and companies, and for a while it was hard to distinguish between fact and fiction. What was indisputable, however, helped by phone and email records, was that Jolo was at the center of the entire fraud scheme. On March 22, 2017, the U.S. Justice Department filed critical charges against Jolo, and in June of 2018, Malaysian police issued a warrant of his arrest. But Jolo had vanished into thin air. Just 4 months later, after failing to find him, Malaysia reached out to Interpol to help with the search. When they couldn't find him, global authorities began seizing his assets, his many expensive assets. Why? To recoup the funds that blossomed from the embezzlement. And that didn't only include the assets in his name, it also included the lavish gifts he'd been given to his celebrity friends. Authorities seized a $3.8 million diamond pendant that Low gave to Miranda Kerr, as well as a $3.2 million Picasso painting that he gifted to none other than Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo was also forced to give back Marlon Brando's near-priceless Oscar. Jolo's prized asset, by far, was finally seized in February of 2018. This $250 million luxury super yacht, dubbed Equanimity. It's a whopping 300 feet and features a gym, massage room, grand piano, swimming pool, sauna, and luxury beach club section for socializing. It was costing the Malaysian government about $729,000 a month just to keep afloat. The purchase offers did come in, yet they were deemed too low. All in all, $4.5 billion worth of OneMDB funds vanished, and the Malaysian government was steadfast in recouping as much of that cash as possible, which meant selling the assets at the right prices. The yacht, the gifts, and his New York penthouse were all thrown to auction. While it took some time, eventually the yacht was sold to the Genting Group at the price of $126 million. Where is Jolo now? China, apparently, but that's just rumors. Where do you think he's hiding? Let us know. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to The Richest, and have a great day. Catch you next time.